just saying, Phil.
All right, we're good.
Yes.
You know it was story time.
A little sarcasm.
It's time.
Are we good?
Yep.
Okay, welcome everybody. I call this board meeting to order on Monday, November the 4th. First, we need to look at the minutes from last meeting. Carla Krebs is joining us electronically, so welcome, Carla.
Thank you.
And have you guys looked over the minutes?
Yes.
I'm still reading them.
Okay, give you a minute and then see if anybody has any questions, or we'll do a motion.
I'll go ahead and slowly make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, minutes pass. Second, the claims, the financials. Did everyone get a chance to review those?
Did gonna put Scott's feet to the fire a little bit just to explain a couple of these. What's the Bethany Legacy Grant SGC Professional Services for $47.50? First page.
Yes, Bethany Legacy Foundation gave us a grant last year for design work for Rucker, Brown Gym, and for the golf course. This is part of the golf course architect's fee for the work that they're doing, paid for by the grant from Bethany Legacy Foundation.
Thank you.
$3,800 in water and sewer at Golf Ridge. Is that Sunrise?
Yes, it is.
So,
That's only one of the water bills.
Yeah.
I think last month we spent close to $6,000 on water.
is this due to our poor irrigation?
It's due to poor irrigation and a lot of leaks that we've had to fix, as well as a hot summer and fall still. And we've also spent probably, I think last month we may have spent $1,500 on irrigation repairs, but this year we've probably spent close to $10,000 on irrigation repairs.
Is that repairs or water, or both?
They're separate. So we're spending about $5,000 to $6,000 a month for irrigation water bill, and we spend about $10,000 on repairs for the irrigation system.
Is that typical, other than the repairs, this time of year? I mean, I see that the grass has grown back.
Yes.
So I know there's been a lot more watering going on.
Yeah, the heavy rain that we had helped it more than anything. We've lost, with leaks, probably some of that expense on the irrigation. I would say, I probably can't really throw a number out at it, but probably 10%, 15% is due to leaks, and the rest is just due to the really hot summer we had with little rain.
What are can you give me a little more itemized list on the $2,400 in janitorial supplies from Midland Paper Company this month?
Yeah, the janitorial supplies cover all the paper products we use, cleaning supplies throughout all of our parks, plus the Comfort Station, plus Brown Gym, plus Bicentennial Park. So all those we receive centrally, and then they go out to all the different public restroom locations. So that's all encompassing. So it's anything from latex gloves to chemicals to garbage bags, any type of cleaning supply, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, sanitizer, all those things. We go through a lot of janitorial supplies.
That's all I got, guys.
Anything else? I don't have any questions other than those.
What was the repair on the Crystal Beach elevator?
Oh, yeah.
The door wouldn't close. There was something with a power loss that tripped something in the controller. So whenever Schindler comes out, it's an expensive repair. I think this is the second or third door repair we've done. And they're all around $1,500.
And those are
awfully
not covered
new.
on a warranty?
Yeah.
No. I mean, we're over 2 years on the elevator. That was
I didn't think about that because we just opened the pool.
right. Yeah, that was opened a year before the pool was open. So usually you have the first year is kind of a contractor's warranty on parts that are bad, but if something, if that door gets off track or somebody holds it open too long and it goes into a warning, that's not really a material issue. It's more of a user issue, and we'll get charged for it. We have an annual maintenance agreement where they'll come out once or twice a year and do the inspection and those kinds of things. But for actual repairs, we pay for those whenever they come out.
So you think they're mostly due to user error and not the product necessarily?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's why we can't have nice things.
That's just frustrating. Maybe we need to put up a sign or something. I'll make a poster. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, any other questions on the claims?
No, sir.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the claims?
Motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Claims are approved. Okay, moving on to new business. Scott, do you want to kind of walk us through this?
Sure.
Before we do that, do we need like a second and a vote on the claims, or are we good? I don't know. I'm not real good at that procedure stuff.
We did, Carlo. Jake,
I heard Jake make a motion. I just didn't hear a vote
I like all those in favor.
or a second.
okay, I'm sorry. All those in favor on
Aye.
the claims?
Aye.
My apologies.
I seconded Carla at the,
Thank you, David. I just didn't hear it.
okay, sorry.
No worries. I can't vote because I don't have the claims. They're not in our packet. So,
Okay. New business. The rate changes draft in the second reading. If you look through those, again, everything was in the newspaper that is new or has changed. If it stayed the same, it will not be promoted in the newspaper.
correct. So, Scott, I have a question on page 1.
Okay.
The proposed fees for the Brown Gym.
Yep.
I see that we have lowered the minimum from 4 hours to 2 hours. And I know that we, as a commission, voted that, city employees get 50% on things. But if, okay, never mind. That's not what I wanted to point out. I just want to say that was good. I'm glad that you lowered the minimum. I wanted to ask if on the below that same category, walking exercise pass, 50 per year, 10 per day. Usually when we offer, like, you could buy individual things or you could buy a season pass, we give a little bit of a discount if you go ahead and buy the season pass to get more for your money. So I was wondering, would it be out of the question to make and I don't think we're going to have very many people that do this, but if we did, the walking exercise pass $45 a year, so that there's like a $5 savings, and per day $7 a day to do both, so that it kind of rewards the people that want to do both, or the people that want to pay for the season. Because there's really no discount there at all. Like, you just,
Yep. Yeah,
I don't know.
we don't have Tai Chi in here, which would be the same thing, but I'm not opposed to that at all. I think that's fine.
So what you're saying is on the last line, walking exercise pass would be $45 per year?
Yes.
And then if they wanted to do both, that would save them $5 rather than 25 and 25.
Correct.
That's all I'm asking. To give a little bit of a discount to those that want to do both. That's not the hill I'm gonna die on. I'm just suggesting it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, and $7 per day, that's fine.
Okay, on page 2, and again, I don't have a problem with this. I'm just gonna ask, like, I'm looking at the pickleball fees, the proposed ones. And so like the 1 year all-inclusive just went up $5. The adult 1 year evenings only went up $5. But the daytime pass went up $15. So how do we decide, like, why aren't all of them 5? Like, are we getting more hours that I'm forgetting about? Have we extended that or given them more for their money that we need to charge more?
No, I'm sorry, that's really loud. I really look at what it's costing us to operate Brown Gym. We are not breaking even to even operate Brown Gym, and the vast majority of people who are using the facility are daytime pickleballers. So it makes sense that that would be the point where maybe it goes up a little bit more. There's such a high demand for daytime pickleball. It only makes some sense that that number would go up a little bit higher.
Okay. I mean, I do think it's great that we're using 3 offices down there now too. They're also, would still be open even if we weren't there. But okay. Underneath private skate party, disco lights. Can we just say $25 period to hang the disco ball? Does it really need to be $25 an hour?
It's not the disco ball, it's the lights. It's the lights that we charge and that we hang up on the rims and that we have to take
So
down
there
off
are
the rims.
multiple of those. Okay, I thought
Yes.
it was literally hanging the ball.
Nope, no.
Okay, never mind. And now the community band that practices there, do they get free? They're there just once a week for a couple of hours. Like, they're not going to be charged the Brown Gym rental fee. How are we going to handle that?
No, they don't get charged anything.
Okay, I don't want them to get charged.
Yep.
I just wanted to ask.
Yep.
Okay, guys, do you have any questions on page 1 or 2? Because I've got stuff on every page. I'll just keep going, or I'll wait for y'all to interject.
I have nothing to add.
I'm good so far.
Keep going, Carla.
Okay. Okay, so moving to page 3, the golf course. On page 3, all of the percentages of the rate increases are like 5 or 6%. No big deal. I got no problem with that. Page 4, I just have some questions. So on the trail fee and barn storage, again, 6-7%. No big deal on the increase. But, I contacted Scott last night. I had a hard time figuring out the stuff starting at where it says 2024 daily rates, 18 holes, blah, blah, blah. So I went on our website today, and I hope it's current and that I got the right numbers. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that I have the right numbers here. I'm going to call it up so I can read information. So on the week, all right, so the rate increases for the what I consider outside play, especially on the weekends, those rates went up like 20% or more. Whereas, and I want our local people to get the discount. I want our members to have a good rate, all that. But it just seems like, wow, to go up like 25% or more on some of our other rate increases, that doesn't seem, just help me understand that thinking too. Because that's where we make our money. We know that. We don't make a lot of money on the memberships per se. we make our money on the people who come in from outside. We rely on that to be able to break even, make money, yada, yada, yada. So I know a few years ago, you were not even here, Scott, but we had a drastic increase because we were getting anxious about breaking even and all that. And we didn't have a very good year because people didn't want to pay $40, $45 to golf on our course. Granted, we've had some improvements over that time. We've got a great groundskeeper now, and people are very complimentary of the course. But I just don't want to scare away the outside people that help us to break even by hiking up a 20% increase.
So the golf board met, we went through the rates 2 or 3 meetings in a row. Even at this rate, we are still the lowest cost golf courses within an hour drive. Butler Falls may be cheaper, but that's not a comparable. So evaluating what everybody else is charging, and we've been inadequately low in what we charge. The golf board felt that it was appropriate for the weekend play to increase that. We have people coming now from Louisville and Cincinnati who are just astounded at how cheap it is. So that outside play that we need to bring in order for the golf course to be successful is used to playing a much higher rate. And so this rate is still very inexpensive for outside play. Jake, you want to add anything to
Well,
that?
sure, Carla.
We
And
agree then that, let's say we're into June, May is over, April and May, and we see a significant decrease in the number of people coming because, the rate hike or whatever, that we could reevaluate, or does it, you set them in January and then go through December?
Yeah, I mean, there's any number of variables that could cause the income to go down. Weather could be bad. There could be other things going on that will have people go play someplace else. Our job is to market outside of Jefferson County and to drive more people in. We're working with WHAS out of Louisville on a golf card to help drive people up to play at our course. We're not breaking even at Sunrise, and we have to make more money, and we can't break even by doing the same thing we've been doing.
yeah, so we've been knocking our heads against the wall for a while trying to figure this out. And so Carla, we do the same thing there that we do here, which is take our best guess, use our hypothesis and try to figure out what that key number is to get us to close to keeping the golf course sustainable. So all of us are, we try to walk out of there in agreement. It's a bipartisan board. I might even be the only Democrat that's a member. So we walk out of there trying to figure out what the right number is to keep the golf course afloat, and as well as keeping a good deal for our players. And we think the numbers that we came to, once again, it's just our hypothesis. That's we can reevaluate later, but hopefully we're making the right decisions, and we'll look at it next year if we were wrong.
And Jake, you're saying you guys are pretty much 100% all in favor of these new proposed rates for the golf course?
There was not one member in disagreement.
Okay. Scott, just make a note that the league rates and the hand cart rental are not on our website, and we should add that just so people know.
Yeah, we will. We haven't had a league. We're going to develop those for this coming year. We've got to update our website so it's current once these are approved. So now that we have Kristen in our marketing department, we'll be all over making sure that's current.
I want to say thank you for lowering the seniors to 55. I think that does help us. At the very bottom of page 4, where it says seniors, and it says 18 holes with cart, $31, and then it says 5 p.m. to close. Is that a mistake? Do they only get the discounted rate after 5 p.m.? Or am I reading that wrong?
No, the discount rate is after 5 p.m. outside of prime playing hours. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we have, I'd say most of our seniors are annual pass members anyway. So,
Did that change? Was it 2 p.m.?
yeah, we had twilight at 2 p.m., but my argument to the golf board was 2 o'clock in June, you can play 36 holes before the end of the day. Why do we have a twilight at 2 o'clock? Twilight, the idea is that, you're bumping up against dark, and so you get a discount because it's late in the day and you're probably going to barely make it. So for us to have a twilight rate that you still have 8 hours of daylight left makes no sense to me. So we pushed it back so it's actually a true twilight rate versus an afternoon break.
Okay, so the seniors can get their discounted rate starting at 5, but everybody else that wants the twilight can start getting it at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay. And then the senior rate, is that only Monday through Friday? Like no discounted rates on the weekends?
No, we
That's the
didn't. We
question.
didn't limit it to any days of the week.
Okay. Okay, anybody else got anything on golf?
Should twilight change? Because as it gets later in the fall, I mean, September, October, I mean, obviously it gets darker earlier. I know that may be hard, or we just want to not mess with that.
I mean, I think honestly, the conversation we had is we've got so many different variations of what we're charging people. We've got to try and make it a little bit more simple so it's not so confusing to everybody. I mean, we're gonna have winter hours, actually really right about now, where we're gonna be open 9 to 5. So those are the hours we're open, and it's always gonna be weather dependent this time of the year. So if you wanna go out and play, most people will go out in the morning now and play, and if you're working, your golf year is pretty much over.
And I may be misreading this, but will you walk me through this? Because I don't see 2025 rates on there, like we did on the previous pages.
Yeah, I don't think that when I put in here, put in 2024 and 2025. I simply put in 2025 rates.
On page
I have
4?
all those
Yes.
2024 rates if somebody needs to hear them. I looked them all up. Like under weekday 18 holes, we're going from $20 to $22. Weekday 9 holes, we're going from $12 to $13. Weekend 18 holes, we're going from $25 to $29. Weekend 9 holes, we're going from $17 to $23. Card fees are going from for 9 holes, they're going from $13 to $15. 18 holes is going from $15 to $20. Twilight weekday, 18 holes from 15, that's not right, 15 to 15, that didn't change according to mine. The greens fees for the weekday twilight were 20 and we're dropping them to 10 for 9 holes. I'm just going from what's on the website, you can correct me. Weekend twilight is going from $25, 18 holes from 25 to 17. Weekend twilight greens are currently 20. They're going to 12 for 9 holes. And then the senior rate is going from $28 up to $31. And for 18 holes, and the 9 hole is going from 21 to 22.
And I think what we did with these, we simply adjusted the twilight times on some of those. And last year, the numbers that we had also included the cart. And this year, we've separated the cart just so we have an 18-hole cart fee and a 9-hole cart fee. Doesn't matter what you're playing or when you're playing, the cart fee is always the same. So we separate them that way so we could see them.
I just don't see any 2025 rates on page 4.
What you see here are the 2025 rates.
Yes, you
So
just
is
don't
there
see
just
the
a typo?
2024 rates.
I just didn't post the 24 rates above them.
Yeah, so it's, what he's saying is in the middle of the
Yeah.
page, it says 2024 daily rates in bold.
Right. So if you look at 2024 daily rates, weekday 18 holes with cart, $35, 9
Gotcha.
holes with cart, 22.
Gotcha.
So
Now
we
it's
separated
42.
that,
Yeah.
so the cart is only a cart fee, and the other fees now are
Mhm.
separated as well.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what a green fee is
Yep.
and exactly what a cart fee is.
Yep.
But it says 2024.
That's what
That's what it was
last
in
year's.
24.
Yeah,
Right.
this is
Just that
2024.
one
Just
line,
this
Phil,
one.
is 2024 rates. That one
This
first
Everything
line.
below it's
Nothing
2025.
else is
Yeah.
2024.
Got
Yeah.
it.
last night. I'm like, I'm totally confused. I can't figure this
Okay.
out.
Yeah, because last year they were combined into one number, and we wanted to separate them this year so people could see what their greens fees were and what their cart fees were.
So on a
Just for
weekday,
future reference, it's
18
awesome when
holes
you
with
give
a
it
cart
to a
would be
side by
42,
side like
and the
that,
weekend is
so we
49.
can compare like how much of an increase.
Yeah.
So it's like $1 or $2 in most of them.
Yes. Yeah, I think we looked at 5% was the number that we looked at, with the exception of weekend. And then some of them were rounded, so we rounded up a little bit or rounded down.
We're gonna take a
Twilight.
meeting on the twilight, but other than that,
Did you guys talk about that?
changing the twilight time, we're gonna hear a lot about that, so get
Yeah, I
ready,
think that's a
boys.
big deal. I think we're gonna hear a lot about the twilight time, because that's a big difference, 2 PM to
It
5
is a
PM
big
or 6
difference,
PM.
cause they come at 2 o'clock and play for twilight fees.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with what we're doing, cause I agree, it's not twilight at 2 o'clock, but it is gonna be, you know,
Well,
transition for
the-
those people that take advantage of that.
the other thing we have to remember too, as we get into league play, that league play is going to capture from 3 to 5. So that won't be league play that's 5 to 7. That'll be earlier in the afternoon. So people coming out to play Twilight at 2 won't have the availability because we'll have league play going on. At least that's our hope.
We still have one more reading after this, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
December,
so-
our next one's the last
We
one.
can talk about it one more time.
Yeah.
At the golf board, the twilight rates.
okay, anything else on golf?
No, sir.
Let's keep moving, because we're slowing down a
Yep,
little
on the
bit.
Crystal
Anything else
Beach
on,
page, thank you for lowering the senior pass to 55 and older. On Hunter Hall, the set at the very bottom of page 5, the setup and tear down, is that optional? Can we still do it ourselves?
It is optional. We wanted to give people that ability if for whatever reason, retirement party or somebody who doesn't really want to mess with the tables and chairs, that we thought that would be a little extra that we could do for them if they're so inclined, but if they don't, they can set theirs up by themselves.
Okay. That's all I got on page 5. Page 6, I don't think I have anything. Nope, I got nothing on page 6.
All right. Any other questions?
okay, the next thing on new business is meeting dates. It looks like we've highlighted Thursday, January 2nd, which is a day after New Year. And that we are looking at moving all the meetings for better attendance for the group at 4 PM instead of 5 PM. So, any questions on that, so that we can try to provide a little bit more consistency for the board?
Well, I don't think 4 o'clock is doable for me, ever. So, days doesn't really matter, but 4 o'clock can be pushing it for me for a lot of days.
And David, what about you for Wednesdays?
I should be good on first Wednesdays. I had expressed to Kim, there's always a chance at the end of the year that I might have a conflict from work because we have to move, our board meetings are on second and fourth Wednesdays, but because of holidays, they sometimes get moved to first
Right.
and third, so there might be a conflict there. I won't know though for a year, so it'll be the November and December holidays that would conflict with that, so.
Jake, what about 4:30? Are you just 5 is your time?
Mm-hmm.
Carlo, you have an opinion? Does your cat have an opinion?
I like Wednesdays better than Mondays because I feel like we miss holidays and it's just better for me. Because when I go away for the weekend, a lot of times I'm traveling back on Mondays. But I'll make it work. I'm not crazy about the 4 o'clock time only because I feel like if somebody in the public wants to come and ask questions or present something or make a request, they're not available to come at 4 o'clock. They're still at work. That's my only issue with the 4 o'clock time.
So do we want to move to Wednesdays at 5 o'clock?
That's my vote.
Is it available?
If it works better for the guys to do 4 o'clock, I'll make it work. I just like the option of people being able to come.
It doesn't work for me, Carla.
Okay, so we want to move it back to 5 o'clock.
Wednesday is at 5?
Same days here, just change the time from 4 to
Yep.
5, right?
All right. We will revise this and have it ready for the next park board meeting,
Okay.
and then we'll formally vote on it at the next park board meeting.
Awesome.
Okay. Moving on. To the Assistant Director report. Are you going to do that, Scott?
Yeah, I'll fill in. Tanya had a family emergency. Christmas parade, all of our sponsors have signed up, so we're fully sponsored for the Christmas parade. Applications are still coming in for people to be in the parade, so we'll continue to work on that over the next few weeks. Senior Center update, nothing really new at the Senior Center. We continue to have the drop-in crafts, which have been well received, as well as some day trips on Wednesdays that have been fairly popular, and we'll continue to do that as well. Father-daughter and mother-son dances, which are scheduled for the 15th and 16th of this month, are both completely sold out. It's 160 people per event, so huge success for getting people to sign up for those. So we're starting to make plans about decorations and things like that we need for that. So that really surprised us with the huge success on the signups for that. So we're pretty
And
happy about that.
where are those located?
Hunter Hall. All right, for my report going into Sunrise and then the campground, Sunrise to date shows a net loss of just under $79,000. Our cart fees pretty much broken even from last year at this time. There's $18 difference. Our greens fees are up $12,000. Food and beverage fees are
Hey, Carla,
Carla, we can
you
hear
may
you.
want to mute your end if you can. We're getting some feedback.
Oh, okay, I'll mute it. Thanks. Go ahead.
All right. Food and beverage for the year, we're up 10,500. We had a couple of happy hour events. The last one with Teachers Appreciation had a pretty good turnout for that, about 25 people. So we're excited about expanding that into next year. And then Pro Shop, we're down about 22,000, which is about equal to what we had purchased last December when we did pre-sales last year. So we'll offer that again this year with our current rates for people. If you want to buy next year, once the rates are approved, you can buy next year at this year's rates in December. We're hoping we get a good influx of people in December to help offset some of our expenses. One thing of note that I wanted to show everybody is, before I got here, we weren't collecting credit card transaction fees. The 2 previous years, we spent about $9,000 on credit card transaction fees, which came directly from our revenue. This year, we're collecting them, and as of the end of October, we've collected just under $9,000 in credit card fees. So that's an expense that used to go out completely, but now we're offsetting it with income. So that helps a little bit to the bottom line. Anybody have any questions on Sunrise?
No.
All right, Riverview Campground. Had another really good year at Riverview Campground this year. Revenues through the end of October. Yesterday was our last day, so we're officially closed as of today. $206,000 in revenue against $44,000 in expenses for a net revenue of $161,725. Compared to last year, we're up about $44,000 from last year in net revenue. So we had a good year. We spent a little bit more money on some repairs this year than we did last year, so that's probably part of it. Our reservation percentages are still extremely low. For our most desirable, which are the riverfront sites, we're running about just under 35% occupancy for the entire year. And for our off-riverfront sites, we're running at about 14.5%. So on average, we're only 25% occupied for the entire year. So it's still a fairly low number. We're going to do more advertising this year and hopefully drive those numbers up and try and figure out some more programs to bring more people in, especially during the week, which is what our slowest times are. Our premium weekends, our high-volume weekends are pretty much sold out across the campsite. I think we had a total of 6 or 8 sites that weren't sold out during all of the premium weekends. So we're doing well during that time period, but it's during the week that we're really getting hit with vacancies.
And I know that we have lowered prices on a couple of those things on our fees for next year, but I say we keep lowering the weekday until we raise our percentage, because we're 50% full, but $10 less per day, we're still going to make more money. Just saying. Yeah,
we lowered them fairly significantly this year, or this coming year for 2025 for the weekday sites. So I think that hopefully that'll help drive some more people as well.
Yeah, I just think we have to be lower than the people around us, the campgrounds around us, or at least same as the campgrounds within 30 miles. I'll stop talking now.
I agree with you, Carla.
We do have one other item that I've got under other items. We had a citizen reach out to us a couple weeks ago wanting to put a plaque on an existing bench. We do take requests for people who want to purchase a bench and dedicate it. I think it's important for the park board to be part of that process, identifying where it is. We've done it twice in the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. We typically charge about $1,950, and that's for the purchase of the bench, the artwork, and the purchase of the plaque, and the mounting of the plaque, and the installing of the bench. This person had requested that they would pay for the plaque, but they want the city to donate the bench. I don't think that's, my opinion is, I don't think that's viable for the city. That's an expense, again, that we don't have the money to pay for. And I think it's a good opportunity for people who want to do this type of thing to contact us and talk about it. But I think, in my opinion, that's something that should be paid in full by the donor and not subsidized by the city.
I agree with you.
I agree. I think if we start doing that for one, there's going to be a number of other people that are going to come forward, with
Exactly.
that. There's a lot of great
I don't think
people
it's a
out there, but
precedence we want to set.
yeah,
Yep.
I think that could get very expensive.
All right. That's all I have.
Scott, do you want to add, will that be on our website then, that people can do that with the bench, or we're just going to take it as it comes with people requesting?
Yeah, I think.
We want to promote that.
Yeah, I think when we have a lot of new initiatives that we have to push out. I think this is one of them that we've got to put out to the public and let them know. So as we kind of get closer to the new year, I know Hannah's working on revising our website to make the Parks Department website a little bit more prominent and easier to access. So once we kind of work through that, then we can make some of these things more prominent and more user-friendly for the public to see and utilize if they so wish.
Public comments?
Any public comments on any of that? Thank you, Scott.
Hi, I'm Jan Vatrus at 701 East 2nd Street, and I'm usually here, talking about Crystal Beach. I know that you talked about that last time, but there was a lot of information, and of course it wasn't really available to the public. I was glad to see the legal notice finally came out in the paper. A couple things. First of all, the data on Crystal Beach. How many family passes, how many senior passes, and how many adult passes were sold last year at Crystal Beach?
I don't have those numbers in front of me. I know we had 12 family passes sold. Off the top of my head, I think we had in the neighborhood of 25, but less than 30 senior passes sold. Same about with the individual passes. I'll make sure Hannah gets that posted on the website.
Yeah, into the paper and other places. That would be helpful. And then what was the family pass cost? Because it's not in the legal, and you said that that's not going to change.
Right, it's $475 for family of 4, $110 for each additional family member.
And how much for an adult pass?
It's $175 for an adult pass, and I think it's $100 for a senior pass.
It is $100 for
Yep.
the senior. All that changed on the senior was lowering the age to seniors to make it consistent across the
Correct.
city, which is good. So I know that you're data-driven, but I would like to see that pass situation compared to previous years, even though we were closed for a couple years. And I would like to see us start actually wanting to sell passes. If you only sold 12, my guess is they're priced way too high, which is what we heard from the public. So I think that this is the only night anybody can talk about these rates. So I'm sorry I'm the only one here, but it was not clear how the public could actually communicate with the park board about what the rates should be. I have no trouble with the senior pass, but a family pass that is absolutely out of reach, as you heard last year from several families that said that's way too much. With all the other things their kids are involved with in sports and stuff, to then expect a family, even of 2 working parents, to come up with another $500. And that doesn't, they still, want to eat food and all that stuff. But that is a tradition that kids go to the pool, families go to the pool. Anyway, so I think that you should be trying to sell passes, not pricing them so that you don't sell passes, which is pretty much what you did last year. So that's my objection to the rates. Like I said, I'm pleased, as Carla mentioned, lowering or making consistent the senior age across the board. That's great. I also had a question from other people that couldn't be here tonight. Are all the instructors now paid instructors for the adult exercise programs? Because you've had a lot of volunteers, and now we have new rates for that, and evidently some of the classes are now paid employees.
Yeah, all the instructors at Crystal Beach are paid per class.
And the wellness program too?
The wellness program, the new wellness program is, the instructor is a staff person from the city, and we have a person who does the morning wellness program, Brown Gym, and their compensation is free access for Brown Gym for any programs that they want. So they're
Okay, so it's
compensated
that way.
Yep.
And you've had conversation with all these folks before you came up with this?
Well, we don't get input from employees on what they think the rate should be.
No, I meant in terms of what would be offered, the volunteer people.
We don't have volunteer people. We pay people for.
No, the people that have been volunteering the exercise programs. And actually, we used to have people that volunteered to do the water aerobics programs. Have you got any input from anybody in terms of
I'm
how?
not following your question.
Well, the people that have been volunteering to lead senior activities, or exercise programs, the old water aerobics folks.
Well, what feedback are you looking for? I mean,
To be included in discussion about what kind of programs work, what hours seniors like, any conversation at all. They just feel like they've been completely cut out.
Who's been cut out?
The folks, I'm sorry, I'm not one of those people. I'm just telling you that they would like to be at least consulted or talked to or thanked for their service. That's all. Just when you completely ignore people, it's kind of hard.
Are you
So,
talking about the people who volunteered 3 years ago?
Yeah,
Oh, I wouldn't know who any of those
Yeah,
people
well,
are,
other
and
people do.
whoever volunteered 3 years ago,
I'm not saying they want to volunteer, but they have a lot of knowledge. And they are,
we'd be happy to listen to anybody.
it would be great.
They can come to this, or they can
They
call
don't-
or email
yeah.
Scott anytime.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you would share that, that would
I
be
would be
great.
happy to do that. And maybe we could get, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a big public meeting, because they might be kind of shy about that, but really, we've had a lot of wisdom over the years of what works well, and I think you know that some of the things we tried this year at Crystal Beach did not work well. The fact we only sold 12 family passes tells you it didn't work. So I would like to see a real consideration of those numbers for the passes and make those something we actually want to sell and we sell a lot of. And we should start marketing them in January to get as many dollars up front before the pool even opens. You will make money if you sell passes, because most people never get their money's worth from a pass, but they have good intentions that they're going to use it. So I think, having a big push, which is what we used to do, we even used to have early bird rates. And then by the time the pool opened, we had a whole bunch of passes already sold, all that money in the bank. That's what I've been trying to say now for 2 years. So I would really like to have the park board reconsider those pass rates. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anybody else?
How many family passes are you trying to sell?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, my name's Peter Hemme. I just moved here a couple years ago. How many family passes are in your performa?
We don't,
You have no
we're not
performa?
trying to sell, what we do is offering about 5 different options
Okay, so
for families to
That's fine.
utilize the pool.
That's good.
So you can buy 20 passes for $85.
That's fine. But in
You
your
can buy a,
performa, how many passes are you
you
trying
can buy
to-
a
how many
family pass for,
Back to your
per-
performa. Your performa says how many family passes are you trying to sell?
we don't calculate how many family passes to sell, because we don't know what
That's probably what she's trying to
we don't
say,
know
I
what the
think.
public
Okay.
is going to do. We don't have the ability to understand
So
what the,
I'm not going to argue with anybody here, other than I moved from California to Louisville. I went to Lakeside, the little swim club at Lakeside, and I forgot how much it cost to go to this little pool here. But they had a performer to figure out what you're going to, how the numbers work. Whether it's your golf club, because we should have that same conversation about the golf club. What does the performance say, and how are you going to get to those numbers? None of you ever talked about that today. I don't have any skin in this game. I know what I think, how much does the golf club make a year?
right now we're losing $80,000, which is the best year
What's the
we've,
annual value of the golf club? What is the annual income of the golf club today?
right now we're about $450,000.
That's all you make. The subway down the street makes $450,000. Is that the highest and best use of that golf club? I don't know. I'm very much of a corporate real estate geek, and that's why she invited me here. At $450,000, I would argue that golf club doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Either you have a performa, you have to be more disciplined about this. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to sit down in a second. You got to be a little bit more disciplined about your performa. What's the highest and best use of that golf club? What's the highest and best use of this swimming pool? How do you make those numbers work? I don't know. I don't know anything about your business. I'm just a real estate guy that does other stuff. But I was getting a little frustrated just sitting here listening to this for the last hour. Just try to figure that part of it out. I don't know If you can't figure out what your annual pass is gonna be, that's kind of odd to me. The family pass is easy, that's the biggest number you're gonna make, or the smallest, I don't know. That's what you guys gotta figure out. It's a little town that should figure this part of it out. I just don't understand, I don't understand your business. But I do understand performers, I understand targets. And I was here for the last hour, and I'm getting a little frustrated, and I'm gonna leave in a second. You have to have all those things, or we shouldn't have these conversations once a month. This was like the most frustrating conversation, wasn't even part of the conversation, and I apologize. Just have a performance number, have some sort of data you're trying to go after. It has to be, you were very good about a bunch of stuff, but when you said you had 12 family members and you didn't understand if that's what your target was, or you didn't have a target, that's very frustrating. As a business guy, that's very frustrating. I'm done.
Well, I'm sorry you're frustrated, but we do look at a lot of data, and Scott looks at a lot of data.
You're not looking at the right data then. I will say,
Thank you for your input.
and thank you for listening. And the next time you answer that question, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, our next meeting will be Monday, December 2nd at 5 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, David.